It's time for Screen Junkies Movie Fights.
Movie Fights Live, all up in your face. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Movie Fights. And I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to #OwlNation. Hoot hoot. We have a great one today, and we got some fighters who are ready to throw down. So let us meet the combatants. First up, she's a great friend of the show. You can see her on FX Movie Download, SASHA PERL RAVER.
Hell, I am loving this rainy scruff situation. This is a good thing.
You know what? A rainy day calls for some scruff. Isn't that what they always say?
It does. It's a hoot hoot. I'm loving it. I'm very excited about these fights, man.
So am I. And I like your sweatshirt. No comment.
This is an I, Tanya right here. This is an I, Tanya
nice.
situation.
A little bit of free swag.
A little bit.
Nice. Can't beat that. Can't beat that.
No, you can't.
This gentleman, I think he made his first appearance in the debut deathmatch. Is that correct?
Yes.
But he's been here since, proving that he's come to play.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Cameron Rice.
Hello.
Yeah, Cameron, good to have you. And, everyone loves burgers, fries, and a drink. That's an all-American shirt you got
This is
there.
Ross. I don't know about original, but I shopped at Ross.
Good work. This guy is the head writer of Honest Trailers and
Emmy-nominated.
Emmy-nominated Honest Trailers.
Like 3-time Emmy losing.
You know what? It's an honor just to be nominated. Spencer Gilbert.
Thank you, Hal, and it is my eternal regret that we don't have Sneaker Cam all day, every day with you. You are rocking some fresh...
Oh yeah, black and white AJ1s.
So you were about to grab your leg and
I ripped my entire leg off. What's going on in that shirt? What's that? Is that what we do in the shadows?
Man.
Yes.
It's the masquerade. This is where the beast is. You
Nice.
guys saw that movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, Taika Waititi. That's an awesome shirt. I just got this new Beetlejuice
that's
t-shirt
awesome.
that I'm pretty psyched about. There it is. The microphone's blocking it. Anyway.
It's a fun
The
intro.
Dan Cam is in the house. Enough with t-shirt talk. Let's talk to our man Dan Merle, who's always keeping it box office and factual
Dan, what
today.
are you wearing?
I'm wearing a Screen Junkies t-shirt and a jacket because it's effing cold in this building today.
So cool.
The one thing we
freeze us
have
out.
all of in this office is air conditioning.
I always love that hat. I remember you when you got that hat because that's a classic film image. You want to tell them? Yeah.
Well, this is from the Florida State, the Student Life Center in Florida State. They gave me this hat. It's the Voyage Trip to the Moon, classic, one of the early movies, and I like to do it to represent everyone at the Student Life Center at Florida State University.
Yeah, it's a piece of you, and that's a really cool image that they chose for their hat. It's
very fun.
Thank you, sir. And the voice of the people is going to be speaking for the internet polls. Danielle Radford.
So I am the voice of the people. There are many polls that you can find on the Movie Fights Live hashtag. I please implore you guys all to go and interact there because I do go back and try to read some of the best answers, some of the dankest memes. You know what's up.
Yeah.
That's from my daddy Hal. But for the only poll that counts, that is going to be the poll that is on YouTube. And if you're not sure how to use that, click in the description below or ask in the chat. I'm sure someone has a copy-paste answer ready for you.
Excellent.
What was that?
I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, that's your little cherry on the sundae right there.
Too much caffeine.
Thank you, Danielle Radford. Oh yeah, caffeine. Tell me about it. Just one little note. This is our last live movie fight of the year, but we're gonna have movie fights locked and loaded every Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. So you're gonna get some movie fights. This ain't gonna be live, but if you tweet at us while you're watching it, we'll tweet back at you, and it'll be a whole tweet storm. How about that?
No promises.
No promises. Yeah, tweet at Spencer during a movie fight. Radio silence. So again, here's how it works. First player to 4 points wins. 3 regular round questions. After the first 3 rounds, top 2 players go to the speed round, where it's anybody's ball game. You can be down 3-0 and make a furious comeback. JTE, drop that sick-ass package.
Prepare to die.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's main event time.
finish him!
Thank you, Thor. Okay, this question, it's a real changeroo. It's a real ring-a-ding-dinger, a real humdinger of a question. The format's, the structure's a little bit different. So we're going to ask the question, and then I'll break down. You know what? I'll ask the question. Everybody just give me your answers, and then we'll let people know how the scoring will work. Okay, so don't elaborate on your answers. Just give your answer, then we'll throw it. We'll throw it all against the wall. See what sticks. So, question: should Avengers 4 even have a trailer? Everybody's waiting for this trailer to drop. Everybody's got that just like going back, refreshing. Should it even have a trailer? Start with SASHA Pro Raver.
I can't wait for my ats. No.
Sasha's a no. Cameron.
No.
Cameron's also a no. Spencer?
Give me a pound, bro.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 2 no's and we have 1 yes. This is like for our wrestling fans. I'm talking to Billy Biz. I'm talking to Danielle Radford. It's like a handicap match, okay? 2 on 1. So we have the 2 no's going against the 1. What's that?
I said, is it though? Is this like? I'll let you explain the rules. I'll let you explain the rules.
Man, coming out talking like the Big Show. All right, so. All right.
His face. His face.
So guys, please, if you will, the two no's. JTE just bumped his head on a light. The 2 no's.
He bumped it with a sick ass package.
Hey now. Here's how this works. The 2 no's will be going up against the 1 yes. If the 2 no's win, if they take the point at the end of the round, they will each get 1 point. If Spencer manages to defeat the both of them, he will be awarded 2 points. That's how we decided this is gonna work. That's it. You don't like it? At Billy Biz.
Now, it should be noted, Hal,
Yes.
this could, if Spencer were to win, this is a first to 4 game.
True.
So if Spencer were to win 2 points and then win every other round, we wouldn't even need a speed round.
That's
He would
setting the
just
bar a
win
little high,
outright.
guys. I
That
don't
would
feel
be
nearly that confident in
an
anything about this.
unprecedented turn of events.
That's not where I'm.
I just need this to not go to the voice of the people because I know the people right now are screaming at me and Cameron being like, yes! I hate you!
Okay. So it's all laid out. Let's Sasha and Cameron, go ahead and elaborate on your no answers.
Yes, please do.
Okay. Well, I will just say this. There's a lot to say. Number 1, people have already started tweeting out like hashtag Marvel versus the fans. Can I just say, this is what Marvel owes you guys. Exactly diddly squat. They have already given you great comics, fantastic TV shows, RIP, movies that you love and can watch over and over again. The only thing that you need from them is another great movie. I get that the trailer gets the excitement going. I love trailers. However, I feel like we need to be in the Christopher Nolan school here. Christopher Nolan tries to keep as much back from the audience as possible so that you can go in and have a really fresh experience.
He never made a trailer. That's true. Never.
No.
Never.
Look back at his
the blah
Inception.
noise just was
Look at
incepted
the
into my
Inception
head.
trailers. Like there's so many things. Like he kept so much close to the vest when we were going through a number of his films. But I'm telling you, we've come to the point where it's all about reactions and the teaser. And this isn't even a trailer that we're waiting for, by the way. This is the teaser trailer we are waiting for. We still have 146 days. I don't need 146 days of hype.
Let's get a taste of Cameron's angle on it.
The point of a trailer is it is advertisement. At this point, we all know Avengers 4 is coming out.
Yep.
When it's coming out, and the fact of the matter is Avengers 3 is the highest grossing movie of the year, I believe. And I don't know anybody who has seen it who, if they didn't like it and don't want to see Avengers 4, is going to be won over by a trailer.
Yeah.
That person doesn't exist. They're not out here. The people who are dying for this trailer are people who are paying attention to those algorithms and need to get that quick trailer reaction cash. Everyone else, you're going to see the movie. You know you're going to go see the movie. You don't need a trailer to go see it. At this point, we're already excited about the new Tom Holland Spider-Man because we've seen images of the suit. You can get an image in a magazine.
Spencer.
Who hurt you guys? What? Why are you taking this vile subset of the worst of the internet and expanding that to include everybody who's interested in seeing maybe an Avengers movie? This is the entire globe you're talking about, and you're focusing on like one hashtag, 1/10 of 1.1% of people who are being dicks about it. People are dicks about everything.
This was the question. There's many things I want taken away from people.
So just, yeah, why? Like you said, you enjoy trailers. People are asking for it. how am I in the position of arguing for like not being a misanthrope and like giving people what they want?
Ooh, but they're being like grubby little kids who want their Christmas gifts before
Who
Christmas.
are you? Who made you the arbiters of whether people get to do what they want or not? Why? By the way,
My taste.
the option, last I checked, was still on the table for you to not watch the trailer. They can make a whole spoiler-filled trailer, and you can say, you know what? I'm going to go in unspoiled. I'm sorry that you chose a profession where you work on the internet and you have to like react to things, but nobody made you do that. You could have stayed in school.
Hold on. Let me say this. It's not just that you have to stay off.
I couldn't. I'm bad at
can't
math.
just stay off out of my job. I have to stay off Twitter. I have to stay off Instagram. I have to stay off every website. I have to not talk to my mom. I have to not talk to my dad.
Oh yeah, and we should all suffer for that, shouldn't we, Sasha? I'm
Listen,
so sorry. The world should suffer.
The New York Times is running stories about when the trailer is going to drop. Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, because this is a movie that is critic-proof. And you're talking about spoilers. Everything that will be in this trailer is going to be dissected. People will look for spoilers. And anything. There can literally be like a glimmer of a half of an inch of something, and somebody will be like, that was in comic 127, and now I know that means that this character is
It's not even that. There was if we not remember the Avengers trailer last year, people were like, "Oh, I think this little blurry thing right there, that's Captain Marvel's insignia that Captain America's holding."
And by the way,
wasn't true.
they were wrong, so it wasn't a spoiler. Here's where you guys blew it. You said should it even have a trailer? We didn't say what kind of trailer it would have. If this is a monologue from Captain America and it's just over the text of the new title and he yells "Avengers Assemble" at the end of it, that's gonna get everyone off and no one's gonna be pissed about it. You could do a
People gonna get off.
Yeah, you heard it.
I literally, you don't even need that. You can have 2 minutes of the Russo brothers picking their nose and farting, and everyone, like Cameron said, is still going to show up for this movie.
Sounds like the Ferrelli brothers.
It is critic-proof. It is trailer-proof. We don't need it because
I disagree. There's several types of ways you can take the trailer.
We already have so many movies that we can go into. Oh, there's so much. What's going on over in the fan cam section? Something
We
is
do our
happening.
thing over here.
Okay. Sorry.
We're doing ants.
You could do an Ant-Man trailer. You could do a custom thing like they did with Face Off, one of my favorite trailers, where John Travolta slowly turns into Nick Cage.
It's a great
and vice
trailer.
versa.
No one on the internet is screaming for the face-off.
You can do it. I'm saying you could do a custom thing. You could do just a more tonal thing. You could pull out one sequence like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy or Zootopia or something like that, where you're just taking one fun sequence from the film and teasing people with it. You could do something that seems like a spoiler, like they did with Iron Man 3 and the Mandarin, but when people see the movie, it turns out it wasn't a spoiler. So we don't know what we're looking at when we analyze this stuff. It's just a fun diversion like everything we do in this life.
I'm not getting hung up on the spoiler part. That's not why I'm saying there shouldn't be a trailer. I'm not saying there shouldn't be a trailer because of possible spoilers. People going crazy all the time where it's like, oh, I wish that wasn't in the trailer. Turns out it's the first 2 minutes of the movie. No, I'm not talking about spoilers. I'm talking about it ain't needed. If Marvel wants to continue
That's
being
not the
daring-
question.
daring-
Should it have a trailer?
The answer is no. It should.
It doesn't need a trailer.
The answer is no. It shouldn't.
The semantics there were very
Well,
questionable.
need is a very strong word. We don't need anything but
What's the
food and
difference
shelter,
between need
Sasha.
and have? Should we have this thing? Here's what when we have it, what do you do with it once you've had it?
I enjoy it. So I can speak on behalf of all casual Marvel fans because I have the memory of a goldfish and I don't analyze these things frame by frame. I just watch it and I go, oh man, that looked awesome. I can't wait to see the movie. That's 99% of the audience of the
Right,
trailer.
but here's the thing. We have so much time, and my problem is I feel like we get hyped and hyped and hyped and hyped, and then we see the movie, and the movie experience is a maybe 2.5 hour thing, and then it's gone, and we've had a year, a half a year, however much time building up to it, and then the actual experience becomes ephemera.
But I don't think that Marvel's fallen victim to that. I think their trailers have, if anything, been underwhelming compared to the movies themselves. You always walk out like, wow, that was amazing. And the trailers, they're fine. They're good trailers.
How much hype do we have for like Ant-Man and the Wasp? And then actually, how much have people talked about that movie after the fact?
I don't think there was hype for that, or this is the least hyped Marvel movie. It was just coming off of
I'm saying
Infinity
it's
War.
one of the most recent. With Captain Marvel, I am very excited for that movie. I cannot wait to see it. I did not watch the trailer because I want to have a fresh experience. And my problem is I feel like we have such an expectation, whether you want to or not, whether you do something different with it or not, you will always have an expectation set. And I think it is high time, because we are in an industry where we see so much before. We see set videos, we have set visit interviews, we have a million things of publicity leading up to something. I would like to have a fresh experience.
You guys are both coming at this from the
anticipation.
perspective of like insider hardcore nerds who watch set visits, who
watches movie fights?
Who do you think watches Avenger movies? Everyone. My mom watches Avengers movies. My wife watches Avengers movies. People who don't give a shit about anything else watch Avengers movies.
They were going to go watch them even if there wasn't a trailer.
That's not true. They don't know this is coming out. I'm sorry to do this. Hal, what's the release date of Avengers 4?
Man, I would just be guessing.
You need a trailer. You need a trailer to tell you. The world needs a trailer. Do you not want to just walk by the theater and go, oh, Avengers 4 came out? What the crap?
2019.
Exactly.
So he knows the general time.
You need to tell people when the movie's coming out. It's nothing else.
I would say April or May 2019.
He knows.
April or May 2019.
Why can't we have a television commercial? Why can't we have...
That's a trailer. I'm sorry, that's a trailer.
All
That is
right,
called. That's a
Sasha
commercial.
Pearl Raver, let's roll this into your final thoughts.
My final thought is a trailer and a commercial are not the same thing. A trailer and a one-sheet are not the same thing. Being able to go to a movie and see a movie with a fresh experience is what I think we are all dying for. I feel like you could literally send out anything at this point and fans would gobble it up. But we already have so much backstory. We already have such a set of anticipation. I just want people to be able to go in and see it fresh. And whether or not we need a trailer or have to have a trailer, I think what we already have is a great movie that we're going to be able to watch. And let's have the movie be a goddamn movie.
Cameron?
Marvel's most powerful entity going right now. I think it'd be real ballsy for them to just go, nah, and
Yes!
release the movie.
Yes! I like Cameron's attitude.
All right, nah, and then a mic drop. Spencer.
Casual fans need to know this movie exists. They won't make any money if they just surprise drop it like a Beyonce album.
That would be dope. That would be so dope.
You think my mom's not going to see it then?
And there's several fun things that Marvel could do that are either fake out spoilers or just doing something tonal or just taking out one sequence from the film that people think are cool. And it will give some small modicum of joy to this depressing hell world we live in. And if you don't want to see it, just don't watch it.
One more thing. Anticipation can be the greatest thing. It's terrible when it's like nausea and you know you're gonna vomit, but in general, foreplay can often be better than the real thing. So all I'm saying is, let's have some Marvel foreplay.
So no foreplay, just go right in.
Why'd you make that final point?
Ram it in there.
That only served to confuse me.
Sasha Farley, no foreplay.
Time.
The trailer might be
time. Everything went into a whole other area. All right. Dan, can you check the facts?
Yeah, can you check the facts on foreplay?
And those thoughts on foreplay.
Well, Infinity War is currently the highest global grosser of the year. However, domestically, Black Panther's #1, followed by Infinity War at #2. Spencer brought up the fact that the two things that you would see probably in the trailer are the title of the film and the release date. It might be worth noting currently that there's a rumor reported online that the trailer may not reveal the title, and also that the release date might change. So even with the
Thus confusing my mom.
we may still have nothing to go on. So there you go.
And where do we shake out on a trailer is different than a commercial or the same as a commercial?
Well, a commercial is made for television. A trailer is released in theaters. But a trailer is a type of advertising. I think you're getting into semantics there.
Right.
They're both advertising.
Gotcha.
I would say.
Well, right out of the gate, Sasha and Cameron just started hammering Spencer, and I felt
No
like
foreplay.
And I felt Spencer was getting a little bit overwhelmed, but then he just pulled out the practicality card and he asked me when it was coming out, and I'm like, I don't know the exact date, and then plus I immerse myself in this stuff. For the regular, Tom, Dick, and Mary, they need to find out when the hell this movie's coming out. They need the information that is in that trailer. They need to go to the movies and see, oh, that's coming out next weekend. Okay. So just for the sheer practicality of it, Spencer ended up winning me over.
Okay, I'll
and I'm
take it.
gonna go.
Thank you, Al.
I'm gonna go Spenny G on this.
May 5th?
All right.
May 9th? I don't even know.
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
May 3rd.
Well, I I was counting May 2nd because there's midnight showings.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's why I gave it May 2nd.
Maybe people may see it on May 2nd, but
Yeah. But the actual release is
the
May 3rd.
actual is
You're right.
currently May 3rd.
Unless they do the Robert Downey Jr. tweet like
Unless
last
they
year.
Robert Downey Jr. tweets the release date changed again, which could very well happen. Apparently.
Yeah. Hey, so nice. Do it twice.
So, I am on the record very stringently believing that Avengers 4 should not have a trailer.
Yes.
I do not believe it should have a trailer, but Spencer won me over. I agree with you, Hal. The practicality argument was very big in his favor. And I would also say that Sasha and Cameron maybe focused a little too much on the internet industry angle as far as reaction videos. Please watch ours whenever it's We don't do live watch-alongs. Sorry, we just don't. Spencer won me over. I have to go with Spencer.
All right, Spenny G taking a 2-0 lead, putting Cameron and Sasha's backs
On our heels.
firmly against the wall.
Major.
It's gonna be a Rocky story. It's
Just
fine.
right out of the gate, 2 points, no foreplay. Okay.
I hope you win. I
Danielle
hope you win in
Radford, talk to us about the poll and other
With
things.
98%.
Well, this poll is impossible because with 75% we have yes, and with 24% we have no. And I guess 1% was eaten by YouTube.
What happened?
No. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
75 to 24, and the rest are in North Carolina.
And one tweet that I had, this is really a yes or no answer, so people are tweeting their funniest answers. And at Benji Bilderman said, when is the movie coming out by Spencer J. Gilbert? Is the Movie Fights Live version of Sell Me This Pen from Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes. Absolutely. Great callback to, totally makes sense. Benji Bilderman, a pillar of Owl Nation, by the way. All right, Spencer is up 2-0
Good job, dude.
I'll take this round
going
off. You
into
guys go
round
ahead.
2.
No. You have to sweep, dude.
Yeah.
You have to
Sweep the
sweep.
leg.
Spencer, so now you're like,
Make
it's like-
history,
You're
bro.
jinxing this so hard right now.
Make
Spencer, I'm going to do you a
history.
favor. Spencer, you have an opportunity to blow a lead like nobody's
Yeah,
ever
exactly.
blown on
Yes.
movie
It's
fights
like a
before.
no-hitter.
There you go.
don't say it.
But this is like the undefeated season. Will you go undefeated like the Miami Dolphins in the 1970s, or lose the final game like the New England Patriots from several years back? Here we go. Question number 2, sports. Okay. The new season of Mystery Science Theater 3000, hosted by my pal Jonah Ray, features a surprise pick, Mac and Me, that classic story about the alien and McDonald's, pseudo-McDonald's. What movie most deserves the Mystery Science Theater 3000 treatment? What movie most deserves the MST3K treatment? And it's question 2. We start with player 2, Cameron.
All right, I am going with No Holds Barred, the first ever WWE film starring human garbage fire Hulk Hogan, written by, I think someone else is credited as the writer, but I believe the story goes that Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan, over a weekend in a hotel, rewrote the entire script, and it was in the 80s.
Cocaine-fueled weekend.
There might have been substances involved with 2 rich men in a hotel room writing a script in a weekend. This movie is, I think it's perfect for the MST3K treatment. Much like Mac and Me, it's a known bad movie, but it's not so known. It's also like Mac and Me is a ripoff of E.T., No Holds Barred is a bad ripoff of, I think, a Rocky movie. I just don't know which Rocky movie they're choosing to rip off. There's also a classic scene where Hulk Hogan intimidates a man so bad that the man poops his pants.
Yep.
I would love to see what MST3K could do with that whole story, including the bar scene, Tiny Zeus Lister. It just goes on and on about how insane this film is. And the entire plot of the movie is a television network head wanting Hulk Hogan's wrestling character to appear on his network, so he wants to destroy this other network. It makes no sense. It's one of the most 80s things ever, and I think MST3K could have a field day with this.
But like wrestling's also real, but it's very confusing.
Yeah, it's
it's
oddly
very
real,
very muddled.
Yes.
No Holds Barred.
Yeah.
Spencer Gilbert.
Look, Hal, I'm in the making fun of movies game.
Yeah.
So when I
Stock and
say
trade.
what makes for the best movie to make fun of, I know what I'm talking about. And it needs 2 qualities for me that make it easy and enjoyable. One is that the movie has to be ridiculous, but the movie also has to take itself seriously. The movie has to think that what it's doing is the most awesome thing ever put to film. That is why I've chosen simply Rad. The movie is called Rad, if you're not familiar with, from 1986. And this is, I guess, peak BMX. I don't know. I haven't followed BMX before or since. But man, this is just the most self-serious, thinks it's the most awesome thing of all time. It is your classic 80s, gotta save the rec center, win the $100,000 BMX race called Hell Track at the end. It is about a man who has to decide between racing BMX or taking the SATs. That is the major drama of the movie. He chooses the bike, as you do. His girlfriend is Rebecca from Full House, and he takes her to prom, whereupon they both do their prom slow dance on BMX bikes.
Oh, hot.
This is a movie that thinks it's the coolest thing ever, and it is so ridiculous, and that, I think, will make for the best roast.
BMX or SATs, there you go. Sasha.
Well, so I think it's so interesting that you guys have both chosen movies that don't involve science. So what I chose.
They don't only talk about science.
No, but there's usually some like.
Hosted by Thomas Dole.
There's usually some sci-fi in
Cosmos.
there, which is why I chose something that is campy, that is fun, that is beloved, but is also sort of sci-fi-ish, and that is the brilliant, the wonderful, the charming Starship Troopers. Here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a Mystery Science Theater 3000 show where Casper Van Dien, friend of Screen Junkies, comes in and helps along with it. We have all the campy fun we want, but because this is not an unknown quantity, but a rather known quantity, we can also have this be almost like a live The Room, but in your own home. So every time they say bugs, we could throw bugs at the TV. Every time Rico goes Rico or takes a shower, anytime there's an awkward shower scene, you have to like throw water at your television. It's just a fabulous one. Like you can get out like a little spray bottle and spritz it. It could be a play along, plus it can be the great thing that we love about MST3K, but you also have knowing that you talk about self-serious. You've got the guy who brought you RoboCop, Total Recall, and now you get to revisit Starship Troopers, which is so delightfully bad, but still so good. And you have smart, funny, awesome people yelling things you wish you had come up with at your TV while you yell not quite as good things at your TV. That's what I want.
I will not sanction this Starship Trooper
I
slander
agree.
here. I will not have you call this a dumb movie. This is one of the most brilliant satires
It's a satire.
of the century. This is a genius movie. The dumbness of the characters is the point, that these are dumb jocks sent off to war to die for a cause that they don't even know about. This is a biting, critical, anti-fascist movie, and I'm serious.
Made by a man who grew up around fascism.
Made by a man who'd escaped Nazi Germany.
Yes.
Paul Verhoeven is a genius. This is why, like you can squint real hard and see subtext to Showgirls. You can definitely see it to RoboCop. And this movie, too, I think deserves a reevaluation, not making fun of it. The movie is funny if you look at it. It's intentional what they're doing in that film. And then yours, I think, is, I don't know, the movie speaks for itself. It's fun. It's just a fun ride-along, and they're cracking jokes. Do you think that, like, you want someone to talk over when that guy says Dookie? No, you want to sit back and watch No Holds Barred. It's entertaining enough on its own. Rad is just a cheesy, trope-filled cheese fest, and you want smart people to interject with like little commentary and little snide comments throughout it.
But you didn't even pick the best bad BMX movie. That's BMX Bandits with Nicole Kidman.
Never saw that one.
Wow.
That's the best bad BMX movie.
But here's my thing. You're talking about how it's actually a great satire. My favorite episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000 is when they did Hamlet. So you can do something that is actually serious and make it really, really funny and really, really interesting, because nobody would have thought. I was like, Hamlet, this is going to be garbage. And I was howling. So yes, you can still have something that is serious, is a satire, is a great movie, is a great piece of art, but is an even better episode of the show. Oh, it's a hard one to come back from, huh?
Well, no, I don't think you're going to come out looking as good. You can always make fun of Shakespeare because, like, he's long dead. This is a movie. What? This is a movie whose legacy is still in contention. People still think Starship Troopers is a dumb movie, and I would think less of MST3K if they were making fun of how dumb Starship Troopers is.
I also don't know if they would, because Elliot Kalin, who's the head writer of the last two seasons of MST3K, his show, The Flophouse, they recommended it, and their point of view was critics got it wrong.
They absolutely would, because they did riff tracks back in 2013, I believe. Dan, you can fact check that. And
Different crew, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the alum. It's the alum from
but
Mystery
they,
Science
like,
Theater.
I
But they
don't
did
get
it as a live thing. And what I'm saying is, they know that the comedy's there. They know the jokes are there. They know that it would be awesome. They've just never done it for the actual show. And I want to be privy to what probably was an awesome live event.
Well,
and the thing about BMX is fun, but it's not like a great You need somebody where you can make smart jokes about something stupid, but that just seems like stupid for stupid's sake.
That's what you want. The whole point of MST3K is to make these stupid movies bearable and fun, and like you're all cracking jokes
Rad
about a bad
sounds
movie.
fun. Rad sounds like it's pretty rad.
It's ridiculous. It's
sounds
absolutely
like-
ridiculous, but it's a very enjoyable watch along when you're with funny people talking about it. That's what you want. This is a movie with the absolute highest discrepancy between critics and user ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. There is no other film that has a larger gap between people's love for this movie and what
are the ratings?
And what I think it's 0 to 90. Like it's a 0% Rotten Tomatoes
That's pretty
movie,
good.
and it's way up there. So there's just something really ridiculous about watching this film and revisiting it. It's stuck in my heart. It's stuck in my soul, and I would just love every time I throw it on. People are like, "Oh my God, this is so fun!" And you make fun of it. How can you not make fun of a BMX slow dance?
Roll this
Well,
into
that's
your...
what you just said about my movie wouldn't work because it's fun and stands on its own. So you're now telling me your movie is fun and stands on its own.
Cameron, go ahead and turn this into your final thought.
I think at the end of the day, MST3K works best, I believe you made this point, when they're making fun of movies that tried to go for a mark and missed that mark terribly. Starship Troopers hits the mark that it's going for. People might not have gotten it at the time, but it hits the mark it is going for. No Holds Barred is a perfect microcosm of bad 80s, missing the mark, trying to make Wall Street mixed with Rocky, filled with people who cannot act, made by people who should not be making movies. If that does not say MST3K to you, and also, let's keep taking Hulk Hogan down a couple notches. Let these brilliant comedian writers rip this man apart further than he needs to be. Just keep going at him. I think No Holds Barred is the movie to be.
Thank you, Cameron. Spencer?
I just think it's a perfect fit because of the tropeness of it, because this was such a flash-in-the-pan trend that people thought was just going to be the coolest thing of all time, because it has a race called Hell Track, and because the man and his love dance, they entwined their bodies and their bikes at the same time. I just want to say...
How Cronenbergian.
Yeah, how it's like Cronenberg Crash, if you will.
Yeah, that crash.
I just think it's providing you with the most material. And I do think that No Holds Barred is too goofy. And I do think that Starship Troopers is in itself a brilliant satire, and you don't want to talk over that. This is a movie with... You've seen this movie before. Just replace BMX with a dance-off, with skateboarding, with anything. You want people to crack jokes over that.
Sasha?
I feel like the reason that we've rediscovered Starship Troopers is because people got drunk and stoned and watched it and made jokes over it, and then people are like, wait a second, this movie is awesome and hilarious. But that's sort of our generation. It needs to be rediscovered, and it needs to be discovered a first time by maybe older viewers. The truth is that you're talking about movies that have missed the mark. Missed the Mark is super, super on point. They missed the mark. They totally got it wrong. We found it much later, but Starship Troopers is kind of a mess, but it's done so right when you get to watch it with people that are smarter and funnier than you, and that's why it would be the perfect thing. And how dare you not want to invite Casper Van Diem to the party? How dare you?
He'll come.
Time! Casper Van Dien is always... He is a standing
He's always there.
invite around here.
He is a very nice gentleman, and he smells great.
Absolutely. I cannot vouch for how he smells. Maybe Dan can. Dan, facts about everything, including Casper Van Dien's smell? Thumbs up?
Yes, Casper Van Dien, delightful man. I saw him rip the door handle off an SUV once by accident. It was kind of amazing.
Because he's Spider-Man.
Not even in anger. He
Not
just
even
did it.
angry. He went to open the door and just the handle came right off in his mouth. I can't explain it to this day. Yeah, just a few things. The credited writer, I'm not making this up, for No Holds Barred is Dennis Hacken.
Come on, that's a joke.
He puts the hacking.
It is reported that Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan checked into a hotel in Reddington Beach, Florida, and stayed up for 72 hours to rewrite the script before
Probably
the
did so
film.
many push-ups in that time, too.
Bill Corbett, Kevin Murphy, and Mike Nelson, they do a thing called riff tracks. They did do one for Starship Troopers that you can buy now. I'm a big fan of riff tracks. You should check them out. Spencer, you are right. Rad has a 0% rating, only based on 5 reviews. I'm not doing those.
Unheralded in
But
its
it does
time.
have a 91% based on over 7,000 user ratings.
So rad.
So that is correct, but I have to take you to task for your Paul Verhoeven knowledge. He is Dutch. He did not escape Nazi Germany, but he did live in The Hague next to a German base, and he saw a lot of bombings. So
okay.
he did not quite flee Nazi Germany, but he was witness to
I
many,
was internet correct.
You were close to correct, but also completely wrong.
Correct,
Yeah,
Jason.
You gave, who's the newscaster, the Brian Williams, I was in the chopper
Yeah,
under
there was
fire
sniper
version.
fire. I was rolling under it.
Dan, please give us your thoughts on this round.
Yeah, I feel like Sasha got knocked out for me just because I thought they made good points about the nature of the film and the fact that it's not really a mystery science. That's more like a Rocky Horror type thing. I just don't think it really fit the question that well. So it's between Spencer and Cameron for me, and I feel like there was more. Cameron made a better pitch for me for what the commentary would be and had more aspects as opposed to Spencer's, which I agree sounded ridiculous but also awesome. I feel like Cameron's pitch for a movie to just do a total riff on sounded better, so I'm going to go with Cameron.
All right, that's one for Cameron. Sasha, do you propose people throw actual, like, real insects at their television?
I mean, I was thinking plastic, but if you live in a filthy apartment, use them
Throw
for
some of the
something
bugs.
good.
Find those clicking cockroaches.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you live, but you do you, boo-boo.
That's tempting. That's tempting. But I gotta. I feel like they knocked you out for the same reason Dan mentioned. I felt like for me, Spencer was really just taking the lead, and he had it by a nose all the way. But then when Cameron, in his closing arguments, just reminded us, we can take Hulk Hogan down a peg even more, and just half the thing just hammering Hulk Hogan. That's like, you don't even need No Holds Barred to do that, but you have this quote unquote dramatic movie to do it. And I saw No Holds Barred when I was little because I was a huge WWF fan. You said WWE in the beginning, by the way, and it was WWF.
Well, when I put the
then.
Blu-ray out,
Yeah.
it says now it says WWE films.
Right.
And they put it out.
Back in the day, WWF.
Yeah.
But I go Cameron as well. Okay. Cameron, you take the point. Spencer.
I'm relieved to not have to sweep the pressure. That's a relief.
Danielle
The sweep.
Radford, what are they saying out there?
Well, going to the polls, we had a tie at 19% for Starship Troopers and No Holds Barred, and they actually went with Rad with 61%.
Whoa.
So,
I didn't know enough people knew about Rad. I'm glad.
I think they wanted to sweep.
Yeah.
I think they were rigging it.
Rigged.
Rigged. You rigged it. You, the voter, rigged it. But thank
Not
you.
so fun, is it?
One of the great comments I found on Twitter, Deezus12 said, Wild Wild West knows how ridiculous it is while also being dead serious. Will Smith is phoning it in at times, but you can also tell at one point he just shrugged his shoulders and bought into it. Its third act also featured a giant steampunk spider. So that was their nomination for a great MST3K movie.
That would be good.
Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. Jim West. All right. So it is 2-1. Spencer over Cameron. Sasha, if you take this point, then you will face Cameron into a playoff tiebreak round. Here is question number 3. Mary Poppins Returns is garnering critical acclaim few weeks before even hitting theaters. Now we ask, what other Disney live-action movie deserves a new sequel? What Disney live-action movie deserves a new sequel? We start with man on the end, player number 3, Spencer.
Now, I'm a little unclear because Mary Poppins Returns, it is a sequel, I guess, right? It's not like a reboot-quel.
No, it's
It
totally
is
a
a
sequel.
sequel.
It's a sequel.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
she
fine. I'll
returns.
pitch it as a sequel. I think we should make a sequel to Blank Check. Hal, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I think that there's nothing more fun as a kid than the wish fulfillment in this capitalist world, this brutal world ruled by dollars and cents. No bigger fantasy than just getting a big wad of money written to you after some guy ruins your bike. So if it's a sequel, he grew up. He had kids of his own. His kid's on a bird scooter in a parking lot and gets hit by some Saudi guy in a Hummer, and he hands him a crypto coin or something like that. So this is a film about the booms and busts, the 1% versus the rest of us, the wild fluctuations of modern day capitalism, as told as only Disney can.
All right.
So they're getting involved with Saudi too, huh?
Yeah. Well, this sets up the third act when they come after his mansion with the bone saws. Like, this is
Nice.
writes itself.
Ripped from today's headlines. Back around to Sasha.
So I'm going with the movie that I actually would love to see a sequel of, that we were supposed to see a sequel of, and that's The Rocketeer. The Rocketeer, we were not ready in 1991. We are ready now. I want this to be I want to continue the story so badly, and with it, we can totally bring back Jennifer Connelly, who only gets better with age, and who doesn't want another Joe Johnston movie? He was able to do so much with Captain America, the first Avenger, and now I want to see what he would do had he been given the opportunity, as he was supposed to, had it not bombed in 1991, to actually continue this story. And that, I think, would be a fantastic movie.
All right, Rocketeer. Cameron.
I am going with the 80s classic, The Flight of the Navigator. The story of a young boy who falls down a ravine and wakes up and it's, oh my God, it's 8 years later. And how did that happen? And he hasn't aged. Turns out he was taken aboard a ship, and that ship is voiced by Paul Rubens himself, Pee Wee Herman. And NASA is trying to get into this boy's head because the boy's head has all the information about all the different goings-on in outer space. And so I think the sequel to this, the ship returns, the boy now works at NASA, and we have a young female as the new Navigator. Flight of Navigator 2, more navigating.
Which of these
Love the
sequels
title.
will get the green light? All right.
More navigating.
Flight 2, more navigating. Okay.
Yeah.
Fight it out.
Flight of the Navigator doesn't need a sequel. It barely deserved a one quote. This
Oh, how dare you, sir.
It feels like E.T., but like E.T.'s missing. Like this is just this really relies on the comedic value of a ship that talks like Paul Rubens.
It was Paul Rubens.
I know. And are you gonna be? He's alive. You're gonna bring him back?
Yeah, he's alive. You just said it.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't he come back?
Because it's like, do people care? I'm sorry, Hal. I know you're a devout fan, but like, yeah, really, the Pee Wee voice in 2019 on a spaceship coming back?
Netflix thought it was a good idea 2 years ago. Bringing back Pee Wee.
Yeah, but look, moving on to the Rocketeer, he did get his chance to make his big budget Rocketeer movie, and that was Captain America. We have seen what he'll do. That movie exists. It would really hit the same beats in the same way of doing. Is the sequel still a period piece? Are we still going back to that era?
In my view is you go forward 27 years and you have Jennifer Connelly, who is now 27 years older, and you do get a young, awesome female Rocketeer who inherits the mantle, who now can go off and we can have this incredible, radical new adventure. But it wouldn't be the same kind of period piece. 27 years forward would be like sometime in like the late 1970s, early 1980s. So we're in more of like a Cold War situation. So now it's us against Russia.
Yeah, but
And
I
it
think
would
you're damned if you do.
Crystal Skull? Wasn't
Sure.
the thing the villains were the Nazis?
You're
and then we
damned if you
moved
do,
on to
damned if you don't.
Soviets?
Because if you move forward, I think you lose the charm of the Rocketeer, which was that era, and it was such a good fit with like the Art Deco and the 50s exceptionalism
But
that was
Art
going on
Deco
at the
isn't
time.
even from the 1950s. You have to go back to the 1930s.
Whatever
for
that style is called. I'm sorry, I'm not an art critic. But then if you
Art
go
fights.
but then if you stay there, then it is a retelling of Captain America with a jetpack. I think you're screwed either way.
Here's what I think about Blank Check. Is that a big part of Blank Check? There was all the fun about him buying his own bounce house and having a slide in this mansion. All this. That was great. That was a lot of great wishful moments. But there was the degree of he was being chased after by criminals, and it was the actor from RoboCop, whose name I can't recall at
Peter
the moment. No, I wish. No, George Clooney's cousin.
Miguel Ferrer.
Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah,
Thank
Miguel
you.
Ferrer.
Yeah, he's the main villain
George
in the
Clooney's
piece.
cousin?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
He's after the kid, and it becomes this kind of crime thing. And I think he even threatens the kid with a gun in the third act, which is all fine and all well and good. But
Stakes
the sequel,
are raised.
But so the sequel is that it's this kid's children. So how is it he does not become part of the plot and be like, hey, don't do this?
Exactly. He's the mentor that they disregard. He's like he's maybe penniless, and he's like, don't go down the road I did, where I spent my $1 million on a castle, which. Sure. And then look at the perils of not minding your finances the way I did. And then the kid's like, "Screw you, Dad! I'm going off vaping on my Juul scooter or whatever."
It's a Juul
I don't know what a kid words.
It's a sentient scooter?
I'm gonna go.
Sentient scooter being chased by South
Okay.
Korea.
So yes, he's on a sentient scooter made of jewels. He's dabbing on his haters, and then he gets a crypto coin.
I don't want to see this movie. You just pitched this as like
kid
Logan
sounds
Paul.
like an asshole.
He is an asshole. That's the point. The kid is an asshole. What kid gets $1 million and doesn't give like at least some of it away or tell anyone? What an a-hole kid that just buys their own home and like buys a hooker. Does he buy a hooker at some point?
This movie sounds
The wish fulfillment is totally gone. Dude, Disney's not greenlighting
No
this.
way! No,
It's
but
not
what Disney
happening.
is greenlighting are trilogies and things that exist with IP. And if you actually wanted this movie to get made, it was meant to be a trilogy. You actually do it as a trilogy. And The Rocketeer was an amazing hero. People
Is there a
our age-
27-year time jump in the trilogy?
No, it was 27 years ago that the movie came out. So I'm
Okay,
saying
well-
you do 27 years. Hey, listen, I'm mobile. If you want to put it back in time, you can put it back in time. We can make it current day. It could be like a Top Gun situation where the Rocketeer is like in like the Air Force. I'm saying there are plenty
So is
of
Jennifer Connelly
possibilities.
the only original cast member coming back?
Well, Jennifer Connelly is the hottest original cast member. If you would like to bring back others, I am totally
How dare
open
you,
to
ma'am?
that.
Alan Arkin is a peach.
It's a national treasure.
Top 5 hottest Arkin roles. Easy.
I agree. I am with you. He is welcome. I'm just saying Jennifer Connelly is somebody you can actually build a film around, and you could build a franchise around, and you could bring like a young, awesome new talent in, and it could be something, if you want to bring it into the other universes, other parts of like the Disney files, you can make it part of a Marvel thing.
I don't know. I think
the
we've
Rocketeer
had
is dope.
we've had Captain
Rocketeer-
America, we've had like Tomorrowland. I just don't think that throwbacks to that era are as meaningful or as impactful anymore because you're stepping on well-trod territory. This isn't a movie that people.
What's the last Cold War late 1970s movie you saw that was an action adventure starring a woman and Jennifer Connelly?
That's a very specific question.
Yeah.
Star Jennifer Connelly, Dark Water. Prove me wrong, Internet. You
I
haven't
don't,
seen
know
it
that
either.
I don't think this is well-trod territory. I really don't. I think that this is something that we would love to see, and the movie has been refound by fans, and now we realize, sort of like Starship Troopers, how great it was. And we weren't ready, and now we're
Can
ready.
someone make me a mashup of No One's Ready for Oscar with Nobody Was Ready for Rocketeer, please? Real quick, you sold me a great poster, but I have not heard what the movie is yet. Who are the villains? The Russians? What do they want? They want the Rocketeer?
America!
The
They want
Rocketeer technology
America!
is still out there after 27 years and no one grabbed it?
No, wait, hold on. Are you seriously, you with the Flight of the Navigator are
Because
trying to
my
you're saying
film
there's
is pushing-
plot holes in mine?
Oh, well, yeah. My thing is pushing stuff forward. Here's what you do, Disney. You do Flight of the Navigator 2. Disney loves to put out Disney nature documentaries every year, and they put it out in IMAX. You make this the first Disney IMAX movie where we also put in facts about space today. So it's a mix
Oh,
of...
just
God, you're gonna make me learn?
Oh, hell yeah.
Bye.
Hell yeah.
All
All right, Schoolhouse Rock.
Shift gears. Final thoughts. Spencer Gilbert.
I just think that the premise and setup is something that should be revisited now more than ever of Blank Check, of sudden incalculable wealth and the way people squander it and do irresponsible things. That is something that can be revisited and can be done in an interesting way, because I think it is wish fulfillment, but it's also be careful what you wish for. I think you could correct some of the mistakes of the first one. I think you could, aside from the hyperbolic kid things I was naming, you could do a better job than that of updating it, updating the specifics. I'm not the guy to tell you what teens like these days, but I do think that the film didn't do the original didn't do the premise justice, and I think you could revisit it with a different kid and a different setup and make a great movie. And no one wants to see another Flight of the Navigator.
Thanks, Spenny G. Sasha.
I think that we all wanted The Rocketeer to be better than it was. This is the opportunity to actually see what it could have been, and you can have the trilogy that Disney originally established. This is a film that was developed from 1938 and finally came out in the 90s, but still, it's something that Disney wants, and we will always see another like Lion King live action animation whatever thing. I don't want that. I want to know what happens next in that story. I want to see a big screen version of it. I want to see a female Rocketeer. I want to see Jennifer Connelly in an awesome action movie. I think you have so many opportunities to make it period, make it present day, do a period that we haven't seen a million times over, and actually establish a new trilogy that is dope. That's what I want.
Thank you. Cameron.
The original Flight of the Navigator opened up with dogs catching frisbees to Alan Silvestri score. And we've seen on Netflix dogs. People love dogs. You open up Flight of the Navigator 2 in IMAX with some dogs catching frisbees. You got a $1 billion movie on your hand right now.
Mic drop. All right, that's time.
The entire time I was thinking about this one time I played charades with my dad, and he was trying to get us to guess, and he kept saying "Fly off the Navy alligator," and it was Flight of the Navigator. And whenever I think of Flight of the Navigator, I'm like, "Fly off the Navy alligator."
Wow, sounds like. Dan, facts.
A couple things. I love that we had the ultimate transposition of actual person and persona, because Cameron said, Paul Rubens himself, Pee Wee Herman. But really, isn't that kind of true? If The Rocketeer were set 27 years after the original film, it would have taken place in 1965. The original took place in Los Angeles in 1938.
Ew.
I believe my math is correct. So 1965 would be the year in which it would take place. The character itself was created in 1982. Took 9 years to get that film made by Disney.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
I threw it back 50 years. I can't get enough.
Yeah, so Cameron, when you took it into that weird IMAX nature film realm,
I won. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, no, I was actually going to say the opposite, but I felt like that was like that kind of shift of gears all of a sudden was like it broadsided me a little bit. So it came down to Sasha and Spencer, and I felt like Sasha, like I don't know, I feel like we were just going for a little too much goodwill. I mean, I love Jennifer Connelly, but like you said at one point, like she can carry the franchise.
She could.
I mean, I love Jennifer Connelly. And then I think a lot of it was like going on there. The Rocketeer does have a lot of goodwill, but I felt like we just heard more from Spencer as like just some of the specific nuts and bolts, and just like just seeing some little d-bag dabbing on haters, and then get his comeuppance and learning.
What if the
more.
haters dab back, Hal? What if they dab back?
What if they dab back? I go Spencer. Dan.
Yeah, Flight of the Navigator intrigued me, and then we started getting into dogs and learning and all kinds of weird stuff, and I kind of lost the track on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was between Sasha and Spencer for me. Spencer, I think it was a bit muddled as far as exactly what was going to go on, but I did like some of the angles, and I loved Sasha's idea. I really do with Rocketeer. I love the fact that it was a planned trilogy. You could update that, but I felt like it was a little, I never got a sense of like it could be in the throwback. Maybe we'll do it modern, and Jennifer Connelly's in it, but
I'm saying it can be whatever you want it to be, Dan. Just give me the money.
Well, I know, but if I'm the man with the purse strings, which is my vote, I'm going to give my money to the person who seems to have a better idea of what their movie's going to be, instead of just writing a blank check to just a concept. So I'm going to go with Spencer.
Crystal clear.
Spencer, you got the point.
All right. Thank
Would you like to jab on your haters?
These aren't my haters. We're all friends here.
Danielle, what's up?
All right. Well, at 50%, the chat was going real hard for The Rocketeer. 36% for Blank Check, 12% for Flight of the Navigator. Anytime you do art, you're going to get right in my heart. At Grant K, 1004 on Twitter says, after his family was dog-napped, Buddy comes out of his retirement to show he is great at one last sport, hunting.
Oh.
Airbud taken for a walk.
Whoa.
And it's a Photoshop of Airbud with like you just go look at
That's
it.
awesome.
And also, someone brought us some facts, which I appreciate. My Movie Science says the Rocketeer airfield and set pieces are still in Santa Maria, California, and you can visit them anytime.
Field trip.
They
See?
suggested they
Could've shot
could
a
be
movie there.
reused in the sequel.
They could have been, we could have gone and shot a movie there, but I lost
Yep.
the point. Now the movie's never going to happen because
If
I
only.
lost the point.
Well, Sasha,
That is going
it's-
to demolish it.
I'm so excited to not be in the speed round.
Oh, come on.
right? That's pretty nerve-wracking.
I get to vote.
All right,
No.
so it is.
Not you personally, but whatever. Hal will explain.
Yeah, so we are entering speed round at game point. Okay, Spencer has 3.
Oh my God.
Cameron has
Wow.
1.
Gross.
No problem.
You got it, Cameron.
Again, here's how it works. I will ask the question, shout out your answer. Whoever answers first will then get to elaborate first, and you get 20 seconds, and then rebuttals of 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Again, first player to 4 points wins. Spencer is up 3-1. Y'all ready for the speed round?
Let's do
yeah.
it.
Let's do this. Okay, and no time for polls right now, so Danielle will be chiming in with her very own opinions and thoughts.
I have thoughts.
Yes. Question 1. Netflix just paid an ungodly amount of money to keep Friends on the service. What's the best movie featuring any member of the Friends cast?
Oh, good question.
Good girl.
The Good Girl?
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Oh,
Good girl.
that qualifies. Yeah.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. All right, we heard Good Girl first. Cameron, when 20 seconds begins when you speak.
Good Girl is the directorial debut of writer Mike White. It's a film about Jennifer Aniston plays a convenience store, Vons. She works at like a Vons grocery store. It's a really kind of interesting, sad, melancholy story that Mike White's really good at, about a young woman who's trying to discover what she really wants in life. Does she want to go stay with her husband, or does she want to stay with a young Jake Gyllenhaal who goes by the name of...
That sounds like kind of a slog. Ace Ventura is the movie that put Jim Carrey into the stratosphere. It is his finest comedic performance. He is completely unhinged. It's like watching a live-action Looney Tune. It's actually not a bad like noir detective story. It just has a dolphin instead of a murder suspect. Courtney Cox is a great supporting actress who plays against him really well as a straight woman.
People actually thought Jennifer Aniston should have gotten nominated for an Oscar. She wasn't. A lot of people are upset about that. And if you watch Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, it is pretty transphobic.
I think movies from the 90s and before have a lot of questionable things that we could have to throw away half of all comedies made before the year 1995. I think that Jim Carrey's just...
All right. Woo. There we have Good Girl versus Ace Ventura. Danielle.
Would you mind rereading the question for me so I can get my semantics on?
Yes, ma'am. Netflix just paid an ungodly amount of money to keep Friends on the service. What's the best movie featuring any member of the Friends cast?
You know, these were both great arguments, and honestly, I would agree with Cam, but Cam mostly gave me a film synopsis, whereas I felt like Spencer was actually arguing which movie he felt was better. So for that, I have to go with Spencer.
Gotcha. Dan?
Yeah, not to. I feel like it was just sheer volume. When Spencer came out swinging, he listed several reasons why Ace Ventura was notable, and not to knock Cameron's point. That's a good knockback, but
people are gonna be so mad at me on Twitter.
You're not wrong.
You're right. You are 100%
the first 20
right.
seconds was all plot synopsis, and I didn't, and not why the movie was great. And I think just on volume, Spencer had it, and he took the point for me.
And Spencer takes the day.
It's been a while. It's good to be back. Good to be back.
Been a while.
Left
fast.
hanging. That's fine. I'll just wait.
That's you should have dinged him for the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal's way too young for him.
Do you think I've seen Good Girl?
Spencer, nicely done. Go ahead and give some shouts, give some thoughts, tell folks where they can find you.
Oh, shouts to Hal Rudnick, SASHA PERL RAVER, Cameron. Great fight. Just keep watching movie fights. This is a fun show. I have nothing to shout out aside from the thing I'm currently on.
Heck yeah. Thanks, brother. Well played. Nicely done. Woo.
Thank you.
You took that first question. You were off to the races.
Yeah.
Cameron, great having you. Oh, what was and you mentioned Mike White, the Laura Dern show that he scripted. Enlightened? Enlightened? Yes, Enlightened is a great show. It was only on for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Taken way before its time. Binge watch that crap on HBO. It's good stuff. Like really just gets into like a troubled character. And it's funny, dark comedy. Cameron, give us shout outs. Tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on twitter.com/DraskAlien. I write and host a show, Blood Curdling Tales from the Loop, on Tuesday nights at Hyper RPG. And also follow my photo Instagram. It's Cam Rice Photo on Instagram.
And watch No Holds Barred.
Make some commentaries.
You don't have to.
I want to watch that.
Dookie. SDR, SASHA PERL RAVER, critic, movie mind, and mom.
That's me.
Yep. Tell us some stuff.
You can find me at Sasha Pearl Raver on Twitter and Instagram. And shout outs to all these. Literally, I walked in here and it was just like Hug Central. I love being here so much. I'm so happy to be back. And you guys, 2 things. Number 1, I actually do really want the Avengers 4 trailer. And number 2, I am a huge proponent of foreplay. So, like, it's just, I just need that to be, like, fully
On the record.
Thank you for clarifying.
Because my ads are going to be a mess after this. Oh, God.
I hear what you're saying, girl.
Finally, an ally. I'm gonna show this to my wife.
Yeah, I always say, let's just get to it.
Like in the movies.
If sex is a trailer, let it go long one.
What are commercials?
The Dan Cam. Thanks for being here, Dan.
Gives a
Dan
whole
Burrow.
new meaning to coming attraction.
Give him a mic to drop.
Yes. Thank you for watching. We will be back live next year. But yes, we have some great shows. We haven't done all of them. We've done a couple of them. They're awesome.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
back and watch us. The resolution will be better. If only for that. We're not shooting him on a potato.
Yeah,
nice.
and they're not just generic movie
No.
fights. Like they're upcoming events, upcoming movies that we're all looking forward to, that we're all mega pumped about. So we are tailoring them to those upcoming movies. So you're gonna want to tune in to some movie fights. Danielle.
Yeah, as per usual, find me on all of my socials. My Patreon is still going. I have started modifying it, so we're kind of doing a Christmas movie theme. We just did. For the live chats, we just did the sequel to A Christmas Prince. I have not seen the first one. I will not see the first one. Some of my favorite bad movies are also online, so we'll be chatting through those. So yeah, not just the wrestle content. If you would like to come into the chat room, everyone in there is super, super funny and very kind and awesome. And it's the price of a cup of coffee a month. Come hang out. I'm poor.
Thanks, Danielle. We loves you. Check out her Patreon. And thank you for checking us out. This is super fun. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Hal Rudnick. And I want to wish a happy Hanukkah to any Jews who are in the house. Jew gang. And thanks again for watching. Bye-bye. Owl Nation. Bye-bye.